Welcome to Module 2 of the Driver Content and Partnership Academy. All right, this is all about camera confidence. So on camera without cringe is what I'm calling this. If you hate being on camera, like seriously, every person I start working with hates the camera. All right, it makes you very, very normal. So most drivers don't struggle with content. They struggle with like the moment they hit record, or anytime I get my phone or my camera out to film them or do something, your brain goes blank, and then you forget how to be human and what to do with your hands and why do I talk that way and why does my mouth move that way. Okay, so today we're fixing that, and I'm going to say something that might annoy you, but unfortunately it's true. You don't actually need to be confident. You just need a system, because confidence isn't a personality trait. It's like a byproduct of reps. Like, I hate likening things to the gym, but it's like being at the gym. Okay, so you can't go to the gym and leg press 400 kilos first go. You've got to do the reps to build up the muscle. And it's the same thing with filming on camera. It doesn't mean that you're going to go and want to do a TED talk next week because you're all of a sudden going to have this newfound confidence. But what you're going to do is, it's literally like going to be so repetitive that it'll just be like, oh yeah, cool. Like, yep, turn the camera on. Let's just film this. Okay. So get those reps in, and yeah, let's help you feel less awkward. All right. So let me tell you why you actually feel awkward. So, and like, we'll use the word cringe, I guess. You're trying to perform, not communicate. So when you stand there and you're thinking like, okay, shit, like, what do I do with my hands? Like, where am I looking? Do I look directly? Do I look away? Like, oh, I just looked away. Oh, that person. Like, all of these things are going through your head when you're literally just trying to communicate, and you're watching yourself like a stranger instead of speaking like a mate. Like, you literally need to be talking to people like you had a beer with them at the pub, and you're very likely aiming for perfect instead of clear, right? We all say we all say we also sometimes need a minute to get our words out. Literally, it just makes us human. And the fix is like super simple. It's just stop performing and start explaining. And pretend you're sending a voice note to somebody who genuinely cares about what you're doing. Okay. That is what a reel is. It's literally a voice note with a face. And the beauty of that is that this, what people are calling FaceTime content, is absolutely going off on social media at the moment. So people want to feel like they're literally on a FaceTime call with you and they're connecting with you. So the no one is thinking about you truth is also something that really, really helps a lot. So you're more conscious of yourself than other people are of you. And people are not analyzing you like you are analyzing you, okay? They're scrolling, right? Literally, it's such an unconscious process. It's there, is this interesting? Is this helpful? Do I like this person? That's it. It's not like, oh my God, she said, like, oh my God, he like moved his hands too much. Like, people just don't think that way. And we're meaner to ourselves and other people, right? That's it. So your job is not to be flawless. Your job is to be clear and watchable. And to be honest, the more you pull the piss out of yourself for, maybe not getting things 100% correctly, or saying things like randomly or messing around, like that stuff, it actually gets views as well. So it's great. So the 3 easiest on-camera formats, and you can just use these forever. So it removes the pressure of what do I say? Okay. So format 1, the update, right? We're looking for 10 to 20 seconds, and this is going to be your bread and butter, literally like copy and paste. So quick update. Today we are, and then let people know what you're up to. And then another one is, all right, here's where we're at. Let people know where you're at. Or currently in the workshop, because while you're in the workshop. So an example of this is quick update. We're heading to the race week, and today's focus is tire prep and seat time. All right, it's test day. Goal is consistency. We're chasing 1/10 in sector 2. Okay, that's interesting. That is something that people can follow along with, and people then will be like, oh, okay, cool. So if he's chasing a 10th in sector 2, does he get that? And all of a sudden you have something that people are going to want to watch from you. Okay, format 2, the lesson. Now you'll start to see throughout these modules that literally everything can be tied to each other, just again to make it as easy as possible for you as I can. So format 2, the lesson. So like 15 to 30 seconds this one is. So this is how you build authority and attract sponsors, right? The one thing most people don't realize about racing is, right? Watch that be relatable to every other person in motorsport. If you're new to motorsport, here's what matters, right? let them know. And here's what sponsors don't see. And you can interchange sponsors and partners. Like, I like to use partners more than I do sponsors, but when I'm talking in this format, I'll probably be speaking mostly sponsors. But you'll see most of my external facing content will be partners. And some examples of this is, one thing most people don't realize is how much prep happens before you even roll out. Okay. And what sponsors don't see is the admin and relationship work. That's what makes deals last. And then finally, our format number 3 is the story. So think like 20 to 45 seconds. And this literally creates connection. So you can kick it off by saying, this happened today. I nearly didn't make it to the track because here's what went wrong and here's what we learned, right? And then continue on from that. Keep it simple. It was the moment, what it meant, and what was next. So the magic sentence structure, right? If you find yourself rambling on camera, this is a good structure for you to follow. So basically it's the hook. So the quick debrief from testing, for example. The content is, we try to change setup. The point is an improved turn in, but it cost us mid-corner speed. And then the next step is, next session, we're just adjusting pressures and trying again. Okay. Hook, context, point, next step. The most easy formula you ever possibly could imagine, right? And you can reuse it forever and ever and ever because it's super attractive to sponsors and it doesn't sound like an ad. And it shouldn't be forced either. Like, it should be super easy content for you to create because you're literally it's just explaining what you're doing. Instead of it being like you're in a newsroom reading an ad, it needs to sound professional. Like, say the partner's name naturally, tie it to the journey, show their value and their product in use, and just keep it short, right? Like, leave the long form stuff for if you want to create a YouTube channel and you're doing, videos with quite a lot of narration and stuff like that in them. So, and also, I guess saying the partner's name naturally is super important because you want to, you don't want to either pause just before you say it or say it in a weird way. Like, that needs to be as natural as possible because otherwise people are going to be like, oh shit, you're just copying and pasting or rinse and repeating the same line just with different sponsors. So some example of this, big thanks to whoever the partner is for backing us this weekend. We're running their product and service and it's been a game changer for, right? So this is if you've got automotive like products or sponsors or whatnot, but this can also be things like, and again, I go through this in a later module about what you can actually get for contra deals. So you can get food for the track for contra deals, you can get clothing contra deals, you can get accommodation, you can do all these sorts of things. And then you can do things like shout out to partner, they've helped cover X, which means we can focus on performance, not stress. So a good one I like to use to cut a lot of costs in terms of accommodation is do some contra deals for accommodation, right? So in exchange for putting the team up somewhere for a weekend, we do X amount of content for that hotel. And same with meals as well. We normally 9 times out of 10, the team meals are covered by a contra deal that I've organized. So you're going to go there and eat anyway. So you may as well create content and then you can save some money that way. And if you do it this way, you're not being salesy, you are showing professionalism. So the next part, and I've touched on this a little bit, is what to do with your face and hands. And like, I'm not even joking, right? So camera confidence is also physical. So some quick fixes here and just something super simple to keep in your head is to stand at a slight angle. Do not like talk dead on because you kind of look like you're staring people down. So slight angle with your head tilted towards the camera, good to go. Keep your chin level. Do not look down at the phone. And if you're doing your own content kind of like selfie style or you've got somebody holding it, like make sure that you move them and position people to where you want it more comfortably so that you get the best results. So hold the phone slightly above eye line as well. So you're not sort of like looking down at people. And this isn't for aesthetics because I would make somebody do that so that my double chin doesn't show. But whereas this is just more about our body language and positioning. So if you don't know what to do with your hands, hold something. Like grab your helmet, grab something, even a coffee will do it, or rest your hand on a surface or on the car or something. Include something racing related in if you really struggle to know what to do with your hands. And this one is a massive one. Smile before you start talking. It changes your whole vibe. Your voice changes. You look a lot warmer, more approachable, more real. Yeah. So if you can smile before you start talking. I literally implemented this in like when I started public speaking, like years and years ago. This was like one thing that somebody told me and it's just never left my head. And it really does make a difference because you're considerably more engaging when you've got a big smile across your face. So this is like a really like the cheat code, right? Record while you're walking. Movement helps. If you freeze when you're standing still, you're like, like I can't look at the camera, I can't look at myself, right? If you're walking, your brain's thinking about other stuff. You very likely will speak more clearly. You very likely will speak more consistently without the ums and the ahs and the, because your body is focusing on walking as well. So that is something I also try, like get drivers to try, because if I'm standing in front of you holding a camera and you're like, okay, cool, like this is the most uncomfortable thing ever. As soon as you start moving your body, as soon as you start doing anything that's not allowing your brain to focus on the fact that you feel uncomfortable about staring down the barrel of a phone, good to go. Okay. Next, let's talk about the 10 takes rule, okay, and how to get good very fast. So I want you to implement this new rule in your content. You don't get to judge yourself until you've done 10 takes, okay? So this can work in two ways, and I'm going to contradict myself across both, but I just want to give you two options, depending on what, if you struggle with perfectionism, I'm going to challenge you to be a one-take wonder. However, if you're more comfortable and you actually quite enjoy doing it, I will challenge you to do the 10 takes. So you don't get to judge yourself until you've done 10 takes, because take 1 to 3 is always awkward. Take 4 to 6, get better. 7 to 10 is when you're like, oh shit, this is actually so easy. And if you nail it on the first go, do not question it. Do not second guess yourself. Okay. So this is the other way I see people getting stuck, where it's just like, okay, like that was like good enough, but I can improve here. And then you're going to do it again and it's going to knock your confidence more and more. Whereas if this is something that you are doing for something more professional or for like an ad or for whatever, then obviously you would adopt this rule. But if it is literally just a to camera piece talking about your latest session, then literally like try and get it in one take, because you'll come across a lot more natural anyways. I'm going to give you some plug and play scripts. These are going to be in your notes and as part of your workbook that you can build out. So mentally, you can literally like rinse and repeat all of these. And again, this is all tying into your pillars and all of your race weekend content. So let's talk about race week first. So race week, here's what we're focused on. Okay. Let people know what you're focused on. If you're new here, I am who you are, and we're chasing X this weekend. Okay. Testing day. Testing debrief, what we changed, what we learned, what's next. And one thing I'm working on today is, again, draw people into the story. Post-session, quick debrief. That session was, then let people know how the session was. And we're missing something, but we found something else. Okay. So again, you're updating people in real time so that then when you run out for your next session, you've already let them know, what you've done to try and benefit that session. And then you can come back and be like, okay, so, as we said, last session we tried this and we got this result. It buys into the narrative and people want to know how your, the setup changes that you made affected your lifetimes. And then behind the scenes. So this is what people don't see. So this is fun, especially involve your team in this kind of content. This is always fun because you've always got like quirky traits in the team. So, it'll either be like, such and such has to have a copy before 6 a.m. Otherwise he's the worst. Or, like there are a billion different examples of this, okay? And also nobody talks about this part of racing, but it matters because ... And this is like, I love to share how drivers get their heart rate up before they get in the car. I've seen so many different variations of this. I've seen juggling. I've seen those things on the wall that you hit those lights in time to try and like make sure your reflexes are all solid. I've seen when, somebody's holding tennis balls in their hand, to catch them before they drop, like all of that stuff. People love that behind the scenes stuff. So share that as much as you can. And then some sponsor friendly calls to actions. If you're a business owner and you've ever thought about motorsport partnerships, DM me and we'll send you through the info, and make it as easy as possible for people to, by the way, like really try and, continue that call, start and continue that conversation. And also, if you want to come trackside and see how it works, ask me, because this is the easiest way to get people to jump on board with you without having to invest at the start. Now, these sponsorships, and this is why we call them partnerships, is literally about relationship building. Okay. You cannot go in cold to somebody and be like, hey, give me 10 grand. I want to market your business for you on my race car. Okay. It's just not how it works. It's all about nurturing. It's all about building relationships. It's all about, I've had lead times of like 12 months for sponsorships, but it has been very, very fruitful in the end. One of the ones we've just bought on recently was $100,000 for the season, which, is massive in motorsport, especially these days. And it took me 12 months to get him across and on board, but obviously it was worth every piece of investment I made into it coming back. So yeah, it's all about nurturing that relationship and that person specifically. So invite them down to the racetrack. If you've got a spare headset, let them listen to your race comms. Do anything and everything you can possibly do to make them feel part of the team and watch that, that time investment return tenfold. Okay, let's talk about your homework. Super simple, but it will work. All right, super simple. Okay, so your first task is the 5-clip drill. All right, I want you to film 5 clips, 10 to 15 seconds each. Okay, an update, a lesson, a story, a behind the scenes, and a partner shout out. Even if you don't tag a partner yet, like we're just practicing. Okay, update, lesson, story, behind the scenes, partner shout out. Do not aim for perfect, aim for done. Okay, try and get this in as little takes as possible and really back yourself after your first take. All right, your second task is to post one of them. Okay, now if you have to go through and in your mind you're like, okay, this is the least cringe, this is what I'm going to pick, then that's fine. All right, and a caption can just be one line. We're going to get more into kind of what the standards are and kind of the bare minimums in terms of what that looks like. However, for now, a one-line caption is fine. Now, if you really, 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 really don't want to post it, if it was too scary, send it to a friend or post it to your close friends, right? And then build up. Okay, I promise you, it's never as scary as we think. People are just never going to react as badly as we think they're going to either. That's module 2. Now, just a reminder, camera confidence does not come from reps. Sorry, camera confidence comes from reps, not from talent. See, I could edit that out and be like, oh my God, I've stuffed that up. But for the point of this exercise, I'm not going to. Camera confidence comes from reps, not talent. And the whole reason that we are scared to put ourselves out there and we're worried about what people think and that whole judgment piece is literally from like childhood at school where we put our hand up to answer a question and we got it wrong and like some little asshole kid laughed at us. Right? That literally is where it comes from. Or maybe we were told as kids to, not speak too loudly or not talk when people are talking or like not do all of these things. All of that conditioning has really mounted into us as adults being really scared to put ourselves out there for fear that, we're going to get judged or rejected or made fun of or whatever. But at the end of the day, you need to remember that if you're going to lose more if you don't post. Right? It's more valuable for the post to go up because people can see it rather than them not being able to get any sponsors because you're worried about people's opinions. Okay. So just remember you're actually losing more by not posting than if you do post. Okay. So you've got everything you need now. You have all of the content. You're going to feel great posting it. And in the next module, we're going to talk about your tools of the trade, right? So I'm going to tell you basically all of the systems that and all of the software platforms and all of that fun stuff that I use. So next module is going to be more doing stuff. So it's going to be lots of fun. Hey, as you know, if you have any questions, you know how to reach me, and I will see you in module 3.